So, even though the Mueller report has not dropped yet, news has broken this week that they are recommending no more indictments. Yeah. We've got the media fallout all for you, plus good news in the Middle East as well on 2 different levels. Let's go ahead and get right into this. My name's Micah Curtis. Welcome to Micah and The Hatman. Oh, Lord.
Oh my God. You know, some people say that miracles cannot happen.
Well, is it a miracle if we already knew this was going to be the result?
No, it's a miracle that we have to watch Rachel Maddow in tears.
Oh my God, yes.
Trying her hardest to push away that plate of crow that just keeps piling up.
That was delicious.
Oh.
So let's break this down piece by piece for everyone, because we're going to be talking about this for a little bit. So again, the Mueller report has not been released to the public yet. No. The report is complete. The investigation is finished, and the big news that came out of it was simply that there are no more indictments that have been recommended by Mueller and his investigation team. None. Meaning that Manafort being charged, Trump's lawyer being charged. Then there was another individual who's charged for lying to the FBI, and that's about it. And basically, none of the charges at all related to Russia.
Yep.
None.
Nothing.
No proof that Trump ever knew about this Russia meeting that was had between Manafort, Trump Jr., and somebody else involved with the campaign. You know,
Roger Stone.
Roger Stone, yes. You know, no evidence that there was any knowledge about that. You know, did Roger Stone even get indicted?
He was arrested, I believe. I think he did get indicted.
He did get indicted. Yeah,
we covered that. Yeah, we covered that.
So, and again, none of these have even gone to trial yet. And what?
I mean, it's funny. This entire investigation was about finding Russian collusion in relation to interference in the 2016 presidential elections.
Yeah, and basically
2 years.
2 years, and they didn't find a single charge that was even related to the election itself.
Nope.
They got them on other stuff, seemingly while they were investigating this.
Yeah. And that's supposed to be the win here, that other crimes were committed, which, you know,
which is not a win.
Yes,
it's not a win.
Well, people do need to be charged and, you know, given to justice for any crimes committed.
Absolutely.
But this is not related to the investigation. That was not the point. That was never the point. And everyone was sold on this being like the one big deal. You know, this is going to make or break the Trump presidency.
Yeah.
If it turns out that he colluded, then it's all over. And for 2 years now, we've been fed this conspiracy theory. And let's be real, that's exactly what it is. A damn conspiracy theory. And we've slowly been realizing there was nothing to it.
Yeah.
Of course, you and me.
We've been calling this for ages, but let's go back to kind of how the process goes for those not in the know of how this whole thing goes about next. And basically what happens next is that, you know, the report is being handed over to the Attorney General. The Attorney General will, of course, like he has said, release to Congress to look over. And from there, there is nothing left to do. You know, if he's not recommending any new indictments, then that means that there is no one else going to the courts at all.
Yeah.
So
this will be released to the public, by the way.
Yes.
Congress has already made that incredibly clear that any sort of efforts made to derail this or keep it secret are going to be fruitless.
But the AG has also said that he's more than happy to release it to the public.
Yeah,
of what he can.
You know, it's basically just a statement. But either way, this is going to go public.
Mm-hmm.
Either way.
And what people are going to see is how much of a waste of fucking money this was.
Yep.
To confirm something we already knew.
Yeah. Yeah. And let's go ahead and dispel some of the conspiracy theories that are cropping up now from this. This whole Russia got to Mueller.
Mm-hmm.
Are you kidding me?
Well, let's not get into that yet. So I want to talk more about the simple fact of Trump and this investigation, and clear this up first before we get to anything else. Is that there is no evidence whatsoever also that Donald Trump had anything to do with letting this investigation go. He called it what he thought it was, a witch hunt. There is no evidence whatsoever that he or his administration got in the way of it, because you also have to keep something in mind. Trump is Mueller's boss.
Mm-hmm.
And he let him work. Trump could have fired him. People were calling for him
easily
to fire him. He wouldn't do it.
People were saying, "Oh my God, if Trump fires him, then that's total proof of collusion."
Yeah,
I think he made a smart move.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was a waste of time. It was a waste of money. We knew that.
But this is a narrative that I want to get out of the way first, because people fucking, what's his name, Bill Kristol, was trying to claim that he and other members of the press kept Donald Trump from ending this investigation. No, you didn't.
Mm-hmm.
You did not do shit. Because here's the facts. There was never any indication that Donald Trump was interested in being anything but exonerated by Robert Mueller, which is exactly what he got.
Yep.
We said this months ago, is that if Donald Trump fires Mueller and destroys this investigation, he looks guilty. The best thing for him to do is to let the investigation go forward. If he is so confident that he is clean, let him look. Let him look.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if somebody tries to say,
that's what we got.
If somebody tries to say, you know, you're guilty of X, Y, and Z, you know you're not guilty of X, Y, and Z, and you know that it's such a ridiculous claim that if they were to look inside every element of everything you've got, they would find nothing to lead you there. You might as well let them do it. If there's no skeleton in the closet, if the worst thing that you did was you had sex with somebody, you might as well let them have a look around.
Yeah,
and
don't interrupt your enemy when they're making an ass of themselves.
If somebody sits there and says there's a dead man in your closet over and over again, and they will not stop, let them in your house. Let them look in the closet. Open the fucking door for them.
Anybody want to check my closet? There's no dead guys in here. Yeah. Just some boxes.
But seriously, I would just swing the fucking door open, and that's what Donald Trump did. He's like, have a look.
Yeah.
And if anybody has to go down for what they did, let them go down. And that's exactly what happened. There is no evidence that the press ever did anything to stop Donald Trump from doing anything but expressing his opinions on Mueller's investigation, which he is allowed to do. Even though he is the president,
Absolutely.
He is still a citizen of this country. He has the right to the First Amendment. He could say whatever the fuck he wants, just like any of the rest of us can. So that is
all his comments are obstruction. Bullshit.
Bull fucking shit. If his comments are obstruction, then the media's comments saying that he was colluding with Russia when there was no evidence is slander and can be sued in civil court. Is that the route you want to go down? Is that where you want to go? Because the Covington kids are already holding you to that, by the way. So let's I want to get that out of the way first, because that is abject fucking nonsense that the media kept Donald Trump in check. No, he was laughing at you and calling you fake news. And lo and behold, Mueller's investigation showed he was right. And that's part of the reason that I think they were flipping the fuck out last night. Especially, like, Chris Matthews. Chris Matthews! What on earth? Why did nobody interrogate the president? Why did no one interrogate the president? Did you seriously ask that fucking question? Why did no one interrogate the question? Like, what would that conversation go like? Mueller walks into the Oval Office, sits down with Donald Trump, and says, "Did you collude with Russia?" No. Did you do this? And he's just gonna say no, and you get nothing.
Yeah.
There has to be. If you're going to have a conversation with somebody when you're investigating anything in any manner, there has to be grounds for the conversation in which you will get something to help you develop your case. Something. There has to be a point to the conversation. If you sit and talk to somebody and you get nothing, the conversation is wasted whenever you're investigating. I'm saying this is somebody who does liability investigations for an insurance company. If there is no point in the conversation, you don't have the conversation. That's the end of it.
Yeah.
So, and then of course Rachel Maddow crying. That's disturbing. Let me read this donation from Servant of God real quick. Hold that thought. I love how before this happened, a meme format with the text, "Why do I suddenly hear boss music?" started to show up. I swear God is trolling the left. It wouldn't surprise me. Hatman, go ahead.
Oh my God. For a lot of these media types, like now they've lost the appeal of their shows. Because a lot of them were pulling in numbers exclusively to talk about Trump Russia.
Yeah.
Russian collusion. And I don't know if they realized that it was bullshit and they were just keeping up the lie, or if they actually bought into it themselves. I'm tempted to believe it's the latter, because Rachel Maddow, or really just anybody, crying over a president not being a Russian asset?
Yeah, that's
insanity.
Yes, it is. I mean, I think to myself, like, you are rooting for the leader of the free world to be in cahoots with a Russian dictator.
You were rooting for a
that
constitutional crisis.
Yeah.
You wanted a constitutional crisis that bad. And why?
Just to get rid of a guy just because Orange Man bad.
Orange Man bad, they get to profit off of it because they get to say, "I told you so, media keeps you in check." Oh, fuck you guys. Fuck them.
Fuck them.
Fuck them.
This is my general takeaway from this is it should surprise no one that this is the result. It should surprise 0 people that this is the result of this investigation. We had known for a while that there were some people around Donald Trump who were a bit shady. There were some people around Donald Trump who really were not the best people. But, if they're guilty of it, they're guilty of it, and we'll see what happens in court. And they're gonna have their day in court. And we'll see what happens. Justice will be served one way or another.
Exactly.
What this signals to me is that the left has become so damn childish. They cannot accept that they lost. And this has been the playbook for a while. We saw it with Stacey Abrams down in Georgia. We saw it with what's-his-face in Florida who lost to Ron DeSantis. All the way back to 2016 with Hillary Clinton never actually conceding the election. They will not admit that they lost. They will not lose gracefully, and they will not go away. And do you really think that Americans, with as competitive as we are gonna deal and want to deal with sore losers? No. We do not. And now Eric Swalwell on Bill Maher's show said they were going to subpoena Robert Mueller in the House. And ask what? Did you think there's a secret? Did you think there was a secret diary somewhere? Like what? Like, this is ridiculous. There is no reason to think that Robert Mueller, after 2 fucking years, is still holding on to something, or that he's like what are you going to get? You're going to waste more time. And what's funny about that is the longer that the House wastes time, the more they play into the hands of the Republicans. We want them to waste time. I said this earlier in the year. If they keep going down the impeachment path, if they keep trying, and they inevitably, I think, will draw up articles, but it'll never go anywhere, because the House, I don't even think the House is going to vote on it. The Democrats don't like this idea. The Democrats are about to introduce, Jewish Democrats are about to introduce a bill that will nationally condemn the BDS movement. And it will pass. Because there's enough Jewish Democrats to move it past the majority, and the House will, and the Senate will definitely confirm it. And we will have, and then Donald Trump will sign it. We will have a national condemnation of BDS, and it's gonna be fucking awesome. And we'll get to more stuff about Israel later. But the point being is that the Democrats do not want to try to impeach Donald Trump, because they know if they continue to waste time in the House, they're going to lose elections. Donald Trump, this is a huge win, not just because Trump has been exonerated by this, but on top of that, because the Democrats will continue to not admit that they lost here, they will lose elections in 2020. Now, we are not telling you not to go out there and vote, because you still fucking should.
Obviously.
But this is big. This is big. So, congratulations to Donald Trump for being exactly what we thought you were. Just a goofball in the White House.
Real quick. The amount of conspiracy theories that are now being spun to basically cover everyone's asses for looking like asses at this point is astounding. It's like Alex Jones level shit.
Hatman, you're saying Alex Jones?
I'm saying. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded. But no, it's hilarious at this point, and I'm just wondering when YouTube will finally add the Russian collusion narrative to their list of conspiracy theories.
Oh God. When Alex Jones seems sane compared to you, you got problems.
Yeah. You fucking done something wrong. You done goofed. Like this. Mueller's only saying that there's no further indictments because he doesn't think that you can indict a sitting president. Come the fuck on. Don't you think that shit would have leaked by now?
Yep. All right, let's go ahead and address that question real quick, because somebody was a little confused by the whole BDS mention. BDS means boycott, divest, and sanction. Basically, it is a movement within the left to basically economically cripple Israel so that they can't defend themselves against everyone who wants to kill them.
Yeah, it basically an embargo on Israel.
Yeah, it's an anti-Semitic movement by its own admission.
Yes.
It supports the terror state of Palestine. That should say more than enough. Chaos Sonic just gave us $5, and I'm going to go ahead and read this, and then we'll move on to our next topic. Says, do you think we're going to see the end of the Democratic Party? No, not really. I just think that they're probably going to lose ground again in 2020, but then possibly get it back in 2022. I think for while Trump is president, in the House, we're going to see some back and forth on how the seats go. I don't think that the Senate is going to go anywhere. If anything, we might gain even more seats. So we'll have to see what happens in Virginia. I think that's going to be the state that's really going to be the one to watch in 2020 because of how corrupt the state government has become. It's obviously going to, and the fact that they're all Democrats, that's obviously, like, the governorship is probably going to flip. I think Hatman might agree with me on that one. You know, it's a mess. It really is over there. So I think the right will start to take that back over. Virginia's a purple state, so it's going to flip back and forth, back and forth. But I would think that for the next election will swing right for them. All right, let's move on to our next topic. So this is the depressing news of the week, but we've got good news after this too. Whoa. After I read Foxhelm's donation. So Foxhelm says here, my little Trump winning is magic. Okay. I am going to email Timothy Lim with that idea. Hatman, remind me after the podcast. Seriously, I'm gonna message Brett Smith. I'm gonna email Tim. I'll be like, Tim, if you want to do this, I will write the script tonight. I will seriously do it. All right, let's go ahead and but let's talk about winning is magic. Yes, my little Trump winning is magic. I will fucking do it. I will write dank horses because that is such a good idea.
I think our dank horse Elric will very much appreciate that.
Oh God.
Oh man. Anyway, enough about dank horses.
Okay, so this was depressing news. For the people of New Zealand, we have one of our patrons who's actually lives down in Kiwi land right now. We talked last week about fuckface and about the manifesto and all that nasty shit that the alt-righter did. And what is depressing is that he won. It's funny that the alt-right's one political victory on planet Earth right now came through mass murder. They are going to be restricting the rights of people to bear firearms in New Zealand. And I want to just put something in perspective here. There were maybe 50 murders in New Zealand last year. 50 in the entire country. Mm-hmm. 50.
Wasn't it something like 8 homicides with guns?
Yeah, just 8. Ridiculously low number. And they are stripping the gun rights of their citizens as a whole because of one guy. One. Nothing like this has ever happened in New Zealand before. And because they don't have a constitution that protects such a thing, they can do it. Now, from what I have seen, is that they're starting a buyback and citizens aren't participating. Because why would they?
Like three people so far, I believe?
Yeah.
Or was it 3 people that voluntarily turned them in?
Yeah, just 3, a very small number of people.
Something like that. Either way.
But they're trying to mirror what Australia did. And the Kiwis aren't having it. And what... I wonder what will happen there.
Well, you've got a sort of twofold thing, too. They're not only going with gun control, they're going with information control, too.
Yeah, they're trying
to
send...
arrested for possessing video of the terrorist attack and the manifesto. Possessing it. You cannot watch it for yourself. You cannot read it for yourself because it's hateful. You have to depend on Big Daddy government or Big Mama government, because intersectional, whatever.
Yeah.
To tell you what is right and wrong, what is evil and what is good. You cannot decide that for yourself. information control. That's, in case none of y'all get it, which I'm fairly certain all y'all do, that's 1984 shit.
Yeah. This is straight up Orwellian, what is going on right now.
Yeah.
Which, again, is what he called and wanted to happen.
Yeah. That was the entire point of him using firearms, was to influence a ban that would then rile up the populace, divide the left and right even further, divide that down racial lines, and start a race war. Because, you know, he's a goddamn white supremacist fuckface.
Yeah. Ghost5410 also said they blocked access to the Chan websites.
Yep, they blocked access to the Chans. I think Kiwi Farms got it too. Even like Gab and Dissenter are banned there.
Yep.
It's ludicrous. It's absolutely ludicrous.
Foxhelm
Facebook is perfectly fine.
Yeah. Foxhelm threw a couple more bucks our way, said, fuck New Zealand's government. Yeah, fuck them.
Fuck them.
Fuck 'em.
And this what troubles me the most about this is that I hate to use a fucking Counter-Strike reference, but terrorists win. Guys, that's what's most frightening. The terrorist won. He got exactly what he wanted.
He's getting what he wanted. His end goal has not come to pass.
Yet.
And we need to make sure that, we need to make absolute damn sure that that does not come to pass.
Well, here's the thing. What happened, and this is something that the New Zealand government does not realize. What happens when you tell the civilian public to disarm and they don't?
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to get those guns?
No way but through force.
Well, and that's the thing. That's the question that they don't want to answer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the question whenever you talk about gun confiscation to a leftist, they never answer. Is what happens when you try to take the guns away and they don't want to give them up.
Mm-hmm.
It's at that point you have to realize, I love how Ben Shapiro always put it, is that the government is a giant shooting people machine when it comes to this sort of thing. So what happens if people don't just give up? People don't want to surrender their means of self-defense. A war could spark out. Now, that's an extreme example. I'm not saying it's going to, but it's a possibility. It's a small percentage. But he who surrenders liberty for safety doesn't deserve either of them.
Exactly.
But as it stands, what does this say to the alt-right and other terrorists, potential terrorists? It says killing gives you what you want.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
because here's the thing. An alt-righter will never be elected to a public position of power in the United States.
No.
Probably not anywhere in the world, to be honest with you. The closest, and I wouldn't even say she's alt-right, that we got was Marine Le Pen in France. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't call her alt-right, but her father, on the other hand, that dude's one.
Oh, he was straight up far right.
Yeah,
that dude far right.
That dude was fucking.
Yeah.
Jean-Pierre Le Pen is like one goose step away from being a fucking Nazi.
Yeah.
He's a scary guy. But they will never have that in the world. Much to the chagrin of people like James Alsop or Richard Spencer and Jared Taylor and all those types. They will never have that kind of power. But this tells them that there is another way to obtain what they want in society.
Magical power of violence.
Death. They're going to start we're going to see more of this. When you give in to the demands of a terrorist, it encourages more terrorism. Because you are giving them positive reinforcement.
Something rather ironic. This message, what we've been talking about, was actually similarly delivered on South Park, their 201st episode. The 200th episode involved kidnapping to use his power of everybody being too afraid to fucking talk about him to make it to where anyone who'd been made fun of on South Park before would never be made fun of again. And terrorists actually threatened Comedy Central, threatened to bomb them if they continued to show the episode. So the episode 201, which was the second part of this story, was heavily censored, including the very end Kyle, I learned something today speech about the threat of violence working. Seriously, the whole fucking thing was bleeped out. And to this day, that episode not found on South Park's website, any sort of streaming service. You basically have to pirate it. The uncensored version, yeah, that is the one you definitely have to pirate. But yeah, terrorism fucking works when people let it work.
Yep.
The idea is to not let it work.
Speaking of which, we need to move on to the next topic. We got to get through these really quick. So there's two pieces of anti-terrorist stuff that the United States is involved in. First is Donald Trump. I believe this was 2 days ago. No, yeah, it was on Friday. Or, no, it's yesterday. It was on Friday. Donald Trump declared the Golan Heights to the United States will recognize Israel's control of the region. Now, if you don't understand what that means, basic idea is that the Golan Heights were part of what the Israelis took in the Six-Day War. And it's on the border of them and Syria. And they're basically saying Israel controls that Syria does not get it. The reason for doing this is twofold. First off, it's been a contentious part of the reason for ages. Trump's basic thing with dealing with the Palestinians has not been kowtow. It has been, because Palestine is a terror state, don't give them shit. Take things off the table instead of putting them on.
Yep.
Golan Heights goes to your allies in Syria? No, fuck that. Goes to Israel. Oh, you want Jerusalem? Goes to Israel. Can't have that either. That's how you deal with terrorists. When they try to negotiate with you, and they're fucking terrorists, you do not reward bad behavior. So basically what they did is they gave Israel a giant defensive boon against their enemies, which was necessary. Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, Israel, fuck the two-state solution at this point, because Palestine's a terror state run by terrorists, literally. They elected terrorists, folks. Hamas was elected into power in Palestine. Elected. Think about that for a second. They chose to be a terror state because Hamas said they were going to get rid of Israel, take it over. Look how that's worked out for them. But when it comes right down to it, Israel is the one democratic state in the Middle East. It is the most prosperous state at this point. They continue to get better economically, technologically. They're on the they're on the verge of curing cancer. Holy shit. So when it comes right down to it, this is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to put your foot down and say, no, we're not giving this to you. You have to surrender. Hatman, do you have anything to add on this one?
Fuck them.
Yeah, definitely fuck them.
Fuck them.
Definitely getting a lot of use out of that button. We're gonna get some jackass be like, you guys are anti-Muslim because you don't like Palestine. Like, well, first off, Palestine does not represent all Muslims. I want you guys to understand something. In fact, don't listen to me. Why don't you listen to a guy who is left-wing, and Christopher Hitchens. What Christopher Hitchens suggested when he was on Q&A down in Australia years ago is that if you're going to say that the big problem in the Middle East is the Jewish state, you're insane. You're a crazy person.
Mm-hmm.
Look up Al-Quds Day. The Day of Palestine in Iran. Years ago, there were protests about Al-Quds Day from Iranian citizens saying, no, we only want to give our blood for Iran. That's it. We don't want to give it for Palestine. Fuck Palestine. They can deal with their own problems. People were shot because of that. That's that section of the world for you. It's one democratic state. Just one. About the size of New Jersey. It's called Israel. And people like to say that I'm a Jew! Because my first name is Hebrew, and, I'm an Israel supporter. Beyond anything religious, the reason I support Israel is because it's democratic. It is a democracy in the midst of tyrannies. And it stays strong despite all the terrible things that go on in that region. That's why I'm an Israel supporter. It has nothing to do with my religion. Mm-hmm. By the way, not Jewish. My last name's Anglo-Norman. My dad, my parents are fucking Irish. I'm Scottish and German because I was adopted. Maybe the red beard might be a tip-off. Christ. Let's move on to our final topic. Other good news.
Good news, everyone.
We actually had a lot of good news. There's another one I'm forgetting. Donald Trump signed an executive order that colleges, if you're getting federal money, you have to support free speech.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's astounding how people are so pissed off about that too. Like, I've seen more use of that stupid ass XKCD. Telling someone that you don't want to listen to them is not violating free speech. It's just showing them the door. That dumbass comic. I've seen that posted more in regards to this than any time else. Folks, if you're a public university, you kind of do have to abide by the First Amendment.
Yes.
Because government entity.
Yep.
I worked for a university. I was a government employee. So, yeah. You censor somebody as a university, yeah, that kind of is the government telling you to shut up. And that's illegal.
Exactly. Now, other stuff in the Middle East that we were talking about, terrorism.
Yes.
This is the other way you deal with them. America and her allies have defeated ISIS. We have wiped them off of the map. There might be small cells that still exist, but the caliphate as a whole is dead.
Quite literally, fucked them.
In all seriousness, though, before we start any of the big celebration, to every single person, not just from our country, but from other nations as well, to the Kurds, to the Israelis that were involved in this, to the Saudis that were involved in this, to any of the other people who fought for the freedom of the region, the Iraqi citizens who fought back against them as long as you could, we salute you.
I will drink to that.
We beat them.
To victory over fear.
Amen. One thing that I want to tell everyone. Let's not dwell on what brought us to the creation of this caliphate, because it's dead. If we are to look upon history. Do not do it with spite, because history is history. You can't go back and change it. None of us have a DeLorean. None of us have, it doesn't, no 1.21 gigawatts, nothing. We live in the here and now, so let's deal with the here and now. The here and now shows one thing is very true, is that no nation should ever abide by the will of a terrorist. Ever. No nation should ever sit by and allow this sort of thing to happen to an entire region. You should never sympathize with them. You should never give them the space that they want to continue to grow. Evil must be faced head on. We must be honest about it. We must be honest about what it is. We must be honest about the terrible things that they do. And we cannot try to sit there and say that, oh, it's the fact that they're poor. Oh, it's... Do not give them that credit at all. Because they don't deserve it. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're rich, poor, sick, healthy, this belief, that belief. Evil is a constant. And if you take over entire swaths of nations, if you decapitate people for not believing the same way that you do, if you rape and enslave women and children, you are evil. Doesn't matter what your background is. You should be destroyed. And that is what we did. Do not submit to fear. Face it. Look it dead in the eye and destroy it. We won. The good guys won. The good guys brought it home. And I'm hoping that that's the lesson that everyone learns from all of this, is that it's not about what brought you there. It's about living right now and dealing with what we have right now and winning the fight. And that we never make the same mistake again of ever kowtowing to fear. To kowtow to the terrorist is to let them win. So, good job, guys. Thank you.
We did it.
All right. It is time for the Q&A.
Q&A time.
Got some from the Discord server. We do have a new rule. We talked about this on the overflow. We're going to talk about it here. Because the overflow is getting so long, if you are in the chat, you're going to have to choose. Do you want your question, I'm sorry, you don't have to choose. You get one question per topic, politics or entertainment. If we answer it in the chat...
Politics and entertainment.
And entertainment. So one for each. If we answer you in the chat during the podcast itself, do not ask a question for the overflow. We have already instructed Brainbox to ignore it.
Yeah.
It's nothing personal.
Overflow is meant for questions that we did not get to.
Yes.
So that's questions from people that we did not get to.
Yes. So basically, if we answer your question, that's it. And that's also for patrons too. Because the thing about patronage is that you get your question answered, and donations as well. You get your question answered right there. On the spot, because you're paying me, you know? Yeah. So, just wanted to put that in everyone's ear hole there. Because so Talon Silverbane asks one in the chat, says, with New Zealand bending over allowing fuckface to get what he wanted, do we think other countries will try and use them as a reason to enforce the same changes? Also, ding dong, the ISIS is dead. Yes. I don't know if they'll necessarily do it. I know that the leftists tried to say here in America they want to do similar things. Won't work. Because we're Americans. We like our guns. We like our Constitution. We're not giving up either of them. Yeah. But it wouldn't surprise me if we see more alt-right terrorism. it wouldn't surprise me if there is an upsurge in white nationalist terrorism in Europe and in Australia and such in the near future. I imagine we will see it.
Yeah, we are seeing the left try to use New Zealand as an example. I can't remember who it was, but they said something like, might have been Ocasio-Cortez, said they didn't wait with thoughts and prayers. They moved to act instantly.
Yeah, it was Ocasio-Cortez. We talked a little bit about that last week.
It's nonsense. It's nonsense because thankfully we do have a constitution protecting our liberties here. And you have to get around that before you get to tyranny.
Mm-hmm. All right. Do we have anything on the Twitter? I think I saw one from our dank friend.
I haven't checked the Twitter yet. On the emails. So, from our questionable weeb friend Chris, what are our thoughts on the phrase "no uterus, no opinion"? It seems to have caused an issue over at Geeks and Gamers during one of their live streams when it was said. I had no prior knowledge on what the phrase meant, but after doing a little research, I can understand why folks are divided.
Well, my general answer to that statement has been, takes two to tango. You didn't jump on yourself and get pregnant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm actually with the MRAs in that. I think that if you're going to abort a child, unless the act was non-consensual, there need to be 2 signatures for a medical release.
Mm.
And I will probably be going over that whenever I'm at the International Conference for Men's Issues this year.
Yeah. Certainly believe in if you're going to give that same right to women to terminate a pregnancy through abortion, it stands to reason that you should give the right to men to have a financial abortion, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
That if they don't want the child, they do not have to be subjected to 18 years of child support payments simply because it was the woman's choice to basically enslave that dude.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
which is not something that happens very often, but it does happen. It's a loophole that has not been closed yet, and it's disgusting.
Yeah. So no, I think no uterus, no opinion is oversimplifying the argument. Matchstick asks us, Cocaine Bear.
Huh?
Cocaine Bear. Matchstick, do you want me to tell the story of Cocaine Bear? Because we don't. He's told the story.
He's told the story of Cocaine Bear before.
Fairly certain I have, but yeah, no, seriously, it's Cocaine Bear. I mean, I'm not going to show it because that'll show his email, but yeah, Cocaine Bear. Okay, everybody, look up the story of Cocaine Bear.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and
one more from the email.
Okay.
From Serena. Who is Andrew Yang, and what is the Yang Gang I keep hearing about? What is Yang's political
what
goal?
A fucking joke this guy is. My father had a physics degree. I believe in science. No one cares. What do you mean believe in science? What does that even mean? Believe in science. Hatman, I believe in Xbox controllers. I have an Xbox controller here, therefore I believe in Xbox. Shut the fuck up.
I have no idea how this damn Yang Gang thing started. I mean, somebody pointed out to me, they were like, somebody pointed out to me and they were like, are you on board with this? And I'm like, dude, one of the first fucking points is universal basic income. No, no, I am absolutely not for that.
Fuck him.
No, fuck
him.
Fuck him.
Universal basic income is socialism.
Yeah.
It is mass takeover. And takes money from everybody who is wealthy and redistributes it. It is Bernie Sanders socialism.
I don't understand it unless people are trying to play like 5-dimensional underwater backgammon or something and try to like get him on the debate stage so they can basically crucify everything that he stands for as total lunacy. I don't understand.
He's Asian Bernie Sanders.
Pretty much.
The difference is that he's bringing about this whole and for some fucking reason I don't understand why these intellectuals have bought into this. Yang has bought into the same thing. Sam Harris and wrote the bell curve. My brain's completely blanking right now.
Damn it. I know who you're talking about. Charles Murray.
Charles Murray and other intellectuals are saying that this is going to be a necessity in the near future. Based on what? We're at full employment.
Mm-hmm. Don't start with it until it does become necessary, or it's getting to be at that point.
Well,
if unemployment becomes a normalized thing, then maybe we can talk about it. But right now, no. Pipe dream.
Yeah. Total pipe dream. And here's the thing. Let's get this straight, because everybody's freaking out for one reason. Self-driving vehicles. Here's the thing. Still going to need maintenance on those vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
Still going to need people to put together the routes. Still going to need people to load and unload. And no, we're not at a point where we can completely entrust that to machines, because machines aren't there yet.
Still gonna need people.
We are, and this is something that
AIs.
Yes, beyond. I'm talking blue collar jobs is what everyone's fearing is going to just disappear one day. We are nowhere near the technological point of the fucking Jetsons.
Yeah,
we are hundreds of years away from that.
Yeah, we're not at the singularity yet, and we're not going to get to that point within a foreseeable future.
There's no basis for it right now. I'm with Ben Shapiro 100% on that. It's like people are literally freaking out over nothing. We are not there yet. We brought manufacturing jobs back to the United States when everybody else, all these experts like Sam Harris and Charles Murray, never say we're going to disappear. No, they didn't. Christ. It's ridiculous. It's not based on any fucking evidence.
Okay. Anyway, what do we have from Twitter?
I don't know.
What do we check?
You usually check the Twitter. I've got the Discord.
We need to get to the chat.
One more from Discord that I almost missed. Holy Ninja Toe says, "Can we send a quick prayer for the family of Sydney Aiello, who just committed suicide after surviving the Parkland shooting, dealing with survivor's guilt?"
Mm-hmm.
We will definitely pray for that family, for sure. And for those in the chat, if you do pray, please keep that the family of Sydney Aiello in your prayers, please.
Yes. Okay, the only one from the Twitters is an entertainment question, so to the chat!
Yes, to the chat. So, Diego Camacho says, "I agree on some of the things he says are problems, but giving people free money sounds like a bad idea." Not a question, statement, true statement. Agree completely.
It's redistribution.
Mr. Who wants to know, why does the liberal love communism? Well, I don't know if the liberal loves communism. The leftist loves communism.
Yes, because remember, liberals get the bullet too.
Yes, can't forget that. Because you gotta keep in mind, like someone like Dave Rubin or Christina Hoff Sommers or Eric Weinstein, like those guys are liberals. You know, they're on the left, but they're not socialists. You know,
yeah.
But the problem, and this is, I was actually listening to the Shapiro show earlier today, was there is this weird fantasy on the left that we have never really seen American prosperity as millennials, which is absolutely fucking ridiculous. If you woke up on Saturday morning, planted your ass in front of a TV screen, and watched Saturday morning cartoons at any point in your life, you have tasted American prosperity. I don't give a fuck what you say. And they're among the left, they want to trade it in for this supposed utopia that will be brought about by mass government expansion that has never worked and will never work. Ultimately, I blame them for never reading Orwell.
Mm-hmm. Which is funny because 1984 is required in a lot of schools, so...
Not anymore. Needs to be.
It was required in mine.
Animal Farm wasn't mine.
Mm-hmm.
That
now, Fahrenheit 451 was not required in mine, but I read that on my own.
That's another good one, too. Let's see here.
All right, what else we got?
Servant of God 777 says, "Do we hear that Tucker Carlson sent Brian Stelter a box of Jelly Joe donuts? Do you think he's trolling him? No.
Yes.
Nah. Nah. Yes, he is.
Yes.
That's a good one too. Hardboiled Entertainment's got one on Beto O'Rourke he's been asking for a bit. So, thoughts on the unveiling of Beto O'Rourke's past as a hacker pervert who eats dirt and baby dung? How does anyone take him seriously now? I don't think anybody did from the get-go, and this is just making this dude even weirder.
I think I said it on the overflow. He's not going to get the nomination.
No,
There's no fucking way
he's
that
a
he will.
Hollywood candidate for sure. Like, they're dumping a lot of money into him, but it's not going to go anywhere because nobody really likes him that much.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's a fucking weirdo.
He's a weirdo fucking loser that just so happens to have a conventionally attractive appearance.
Yeah, basically.
That's it. That's
He gets
literally
by on
all
being
he
handsome.
has going for him.
He's the American Trudeau in a lot of ways. Only in America, Trudeau doesn't get anywhere except for a House seat. That's about it. So. And yeah, he put a turd in a bowl and tried to tell his wife it was an avocado. Yeah. Like, old boy needs some help. Seriously.
Yeah, you fucking think? Holy shit. Oh, wow.
Okay.
All right, let's see. I like this one, and this will be quick, too. What are your thoughts on Kiwi Farms telling off the New Zealand government when they demanded user data regarding the sharing of Fuckface's manifesto from Brian Gilmartin?
Ooh.
For once, Kiwi Farms did something good.
Though, admittedly, their article on Allison Rapp was hilarious.
Yeah, that is true.
I'm sorry, but, like, if there's any single person over the whole Gamergate video games, like, drama that I was laughing my ass off as she fell to pieces, it was Allison Rapp. Not so much because of her, because clearly she's a disturbed individual that needs psychological help, but it was because of all the fucking game journalists who wanted to sniff her panties that were standing for her, and then had to admit, yeah, she's literally a whore.
You know, you'd think that was primarily the reason why we're going off full airport's law on her, because she was a fucking prostitute. But, I mean, who the fuck knows?
Oh well.
Oh well, she's gone.
So much
Probably
for the right
best
side of
for
history.
everybody.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Beta O'Cuck is handsome? How much boxed wine do those housewives drink? Dude, there are women who think I'm handsome. Some women have no standards.
There are people who think that I look good. I have no fucking idea what's wrong with them, and I have my glasses on.
Yeah. Some women are weird.
I don't get it.
Did you hear that Yang also wants to introduce a social credit system like China? Yeah, fuck that guy.
Oh my god. Does he want a dystopia? Because that's how we get dystopia.
Yeah. Okay, Cooper's Revenge Home says, Jehovah's Witnesses, heresy or super heresy? Super
Yes.
heresy? Yes. Yeah. The mathematician's answer, yes.
Yes. Yes.
So Tom the Fish brought up that Kiwi Farms hunted down nudes of YouTubers like Aiden. The problem is that wasn't actually Aiden. I actually had that conversation with her. I think that if I remember correctly, her exact quote to me was, "My boobs aren't that big." I love that girl.
you would think that if she was actually jealous, of big titty women, she would go, yes, yes, those are. My boobs are giants. All right.
We need to go ahead
question.
last question, and then we need to get ready for... Actually, no, it's been an hour. Questions now go to the overflow.
Overflow. There we go.
So, if you did not get your question answered, key phrase, if you did not get your question answered, please put it in the chat now, tag Brainbox in them. He will be looking back to see which ones we answered, so be honest, please. And then we will go ahead and answer that for the overflow. I do appreciate everyone not freaking out about the new rules. It's basically, you guys got to keep in mind, I suffered a mental breakdown this week from stress, on top of being sick. So...
Beyond that, too, we know you guys don't like to listen for a really, really long time. Like, 1 hour is basically the right amount for us.
Yeah.
Overflows typically should be like 45 minutes to an hour. This
last
most
couple
recent
have
one
been
was on,
pretty huge. Yeah.
This most recent one was on par with like an overflood.
Yeah.
And that was just a regular overflow.
Yeah.
So we can't be doing that. Just being straight with you guys. We don't have the energy for that.
No, we don't. Okay, so, but real quick, I want to thank Foxhelm, Chaos Sonic Conservative God for donating as well. Because I missed as much work as I did this week, that's a big help, honestly. So, I do appreciate you guys. We're going to go ahead and move on. For entertainment, we will be talking about just a couple different items. We don't really have a whole lot else, so it might be a shorter podcast. But Hatman will be reviewing Shazam.
I saw it. I saw it today.
And I will be giving my first impressions of Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. So, stick around for that. We shall return soon. I'm going to go get changed real quick, and then we'll get rocking and rolling with the entertainment podcast. So, my name is Micah Curtis.
And I'm Alex Baldwin, also known as The Hatman.
Thanks so much for watching, guys. Deus Vult.
Deus Vult.